One of the most horrifying feelings is when you have a memory lapse and you struggle to find simple things like your keys or your wallet that you had just 5 minutes ago. In this video, I'm going to share some of my story of severe memory loss after a traumatic brain injury. I will also talk about the 3 stages of memory formation and how you can understand them. I know this will be a very powerful resource for you in your early recovery, as well as download my free memory habit checklist to get you started. You can download it by clicking the link down below. Hi guys, I'm Dr. Brody Miller, but you can call me Dr. Bro. I'm a neuro rehabilitation specialist as well as a motivational speaker. So first and foremost, what is memory formation? Well, I think of it as like confusion, concepts that are fusing together. Think of it as like an ongoing process. In a nutshell, it's all about the changes that happen to your brain when it's exposed to new ideas, experiences, or information. You can read countless articles by neuroscientists, and they'll explain to you how our brain is wired to take on lots of new information and turn them into new memories. This occurs when you learn something new, like a phone number or remembering somebody's face. There's a very powerful area of our brain called the prefrontal cortex. You can Google it if you want to learn more about it. It controls important functions such as imagination, problem solving, decision making, and impulse control, as well as thinking in terms of past and future. We're exposed to new information or a new experience, dopamine levels skyrocket in our prefrontal cortex to temporarily store that new information. Unfortunately, one of the most common areas of brain injury is our brain's frontal lobe, the front of our skull and brain. And when that's damaged, it causes lots of issues with short-term and long-term memory. That's what happened to me. In a nutshell, this is probably why you're experiencing severe memory lapses, especially in the short term, such as forgetting where you put your wallet or remembering what conversation you were having with somebody only 5 or 10 minutes ago. I've been there. Fantastic example of how this can be trained is when a waitress comes back with the orders of over 10 people and she remembers all the subtle details before forgetting that information later on. My friend, if a waitress can train her short-term memory, then so can you. It just takes practice. If you're searching for very powerful ways that you can overcome a concussion, then click this video right here. It's more about the how, and this video is more about the what and the basic understandings of how our brain and memory works. So after short-term memory, there's a second stage which is called processing.
And this is exactly what it sounds like. Similar to how a computer processes information, so does our brain.
I gotta say that artificial intelligence and computers copy what our brains already do, but that's a topic for another time. I do apologize ahead of time for the complexity of this information, but understand that your brain processes information the best in 4 primary ways.
The first law of processing is called the law of repetition. This is what happens when we learn new information or repeat something over and over again, and new neural connections are formed as a result of that.
The second law is the law of association. Our brain associates new information with old learnings and new experiences that it already had in life. The third is called the law of emotion. When we get really emotional, our brain says, hey, that made me really emotional. Why don't I process this and then store it away later for long-term memory? The fourth law is the law of sleep. Memory consolidation happens the most when we're sleeping, because when we're awake, we process too many information and it takes time to integrate. Okay, now that I confused you, let's talk about the third step in this process. All right, in the third step of the process, when our brain is transferring information from short-term memory to long-term memory consolidation, our brain sends signals from the prefrontal cortex to our brain's hippocampus, where it is put in storage for long-term memories.
The hippocampus acts as a librarian, organizing and storing memories away for recall later.
Now back to my own memory loss recovery story. Around 11 years ago, I got knocked out cold on the street outside of a nightclub in an assault. I entered a severe brain fog and depression for months that also turned into years. I eventually developed a cavernous malformation which neurosurgeons removed from my left frontal lobe that was about the size of a cranberry. For a long time, I forgot names, subjects, new learnings, and everything in between. And I also was extremely impulsiveness because of the damage done to my frontal lobe that I was talking about. My short-term memory was horrid. I remember asking people again and again, basically the same thing over and over, and they would get fed up and tired of it, quite frankly. I mean, I can't blame them, quite frankly, but that's why brain injury is called the silent epidemic, because nobody can see an injured brain, but the brain controls everything about what we do, how we think, how we act, how we form memories, and so on and so forth. So let me speak about a few of the things, hacks, that really helped me in my recovery journey. The first is meditation. Meditation has been proven scientifically to help consolidate information, and it also helps with your sleep, which drastically improves memory retention. The second hack that I learned was through visualization. When we visualize or imagine something, our brain forms new neural networks and patterns firing to one another. So imagine that you're biting into a lemon. You can smell that lemon and then just take a nice, delicious bite, and it's sour. And then our brain sends a signal, and our salivary glands produce saliva, which is really interesting when you think about it. And the third is, you guessed it, repetition, repetition, repetition. Repetition is the mother of all learning in memory formation. So when you start to have solid habits, like my checklist down below, then you're going to be able to remember better, because every days are more similar, and so you don't things become automatic and you don't have to remember so many new things. So there you have it, some basics about how memory formation works, how brain injury impacts that, and how you can use tools and hacks to improve your brain's memory after brain injury. If you found this video helpful, give me a thumbs up. Please like, comment, and subscribe so the algorithm can show this to other brain injury warriors who need help with their memory and all the other issues that come along with horrible brain injuries. Thank you for watching, my friend, and see you on the next video.